Hey guys, we're doing an all signs. We're just gonna jump right in. This is a summer solstice edition. It's almost like a nutshell of a reading to look at like a quantum jump between now and the next solstice, right? On December 21st or 20th, depending on when it'll exactly fall. But let's start with Aries, of course. You get radiance, rayonnement. That's beautiful. I'm getting another oracle right away. Another oracle card. I would like another keyword. What is this radiance for Aries for the next 6 months, basically? It's focus. That's so cool. Because in a way, it's opposite, right? Usually focus is a narrowing down, like you pinpoint something, and radiance is the opposite movement. It's like something that opens up and radiates out. So it's interesting that it's two different things. So you're doing... Well, let's see what you're focusing on and maybe what you're radiating out, because that's what it is. It's both things. Okay, one is Temperance and the other one is the Knight of Rods in the reverse. Well, you're radiating simply because you're well balanced. You're absolutely at peace with yourself. You're comfortable in your body. You feel serene. You feel rested. You're absolutely in the best health ever. Maybe here with the focus is you seem to have some kind of attraction. I don't know to whom yet, but it's definitely not being expressed. if I may say that, to be politically correct about not taking care of that need, right? You get the Fool with the Eight of Swords, though. So it's a mix again. You are conflicted. You're like so impatient to just, get out there. You have a pep in your step. You're just really wanting to show off, basically. I mean, don't get me wrong, but it's pretty much obvious here. And yet, you're unsure. You're having to work at balancing yourself. Maybe that's what the focus is, It's interesting that you are so calm, cool, and collected. And then at other moments, maybe when you focus, actually, you need to actually close everything down around you and sort of almost put on those either blinders or that blindfold and go within. Maybe that's the focus. But the focus is sexual. It's an attraction. It's something that someone, I believe, that caught your eye. And I think you're extremely curious about them as well, right? It feels romantic. Or at least not full-on romantic like romance, but definitely physical. You're less and less in your head about it. You're less and less in your head. Let's see, what else do you do? What else you do until the end of the year that is going to show differently at the winter solstice? What else? The Ace of Pentacles, that's the focus as well. That's why you're having no financial stress. You feel on top of the world here. This is really, really good. This is your main focus, basically. And it's interesting that as much as you become like a little maybe too much in your head about it, like a little too obsessed about it even. It's possible that you are become one track minded mainly. It's not so much obsessed as in not available for anything else, purposely almost, but out of necessity. But I still can't get I can't shake that you're interested in someone. I'm trying to get a little more information. Let me just pull one more card on that Knight of Rods. I'm curious to know, why would that be a focus? Maybe also you're less physically active at the moment, so some of that energy is being recycled back to you when you focus. Look, the King of Rods. This is really someone you have great compatibility with. No, you're extremely attracted. You're absolutely adamant about meeting this person, being with this person, wanting to speak with them, involved with them, all of that. You know, there's so much fiery energy. There's so much Aries energy of, you know, you're going to jump at it. You're really going to go for it. It's like you're representing yourself so well here. Like you're showing up for yourself. It's amazing. You're going to be focused and radiating all at once. And at peace and comfortable with yourself. Laser sharp focus when it comes to your money. You're going to be daring. You're going to be outgoing. But you're going to be kind of a little bit one-track minded when it comes to your physical needs. And almost also because you are not at the moment connected. So they almost take a lot of space because you're not able to share yourself, right? Because you have no partner at the moment. Let's do Taurus. So Taurus, we're looking at the solstice, right? Today, the summer solstice, but we're also looking at, in a nutshell, like where you'll be at the winter solstice. So what's that energy that transports you in about 6 months' time, right? What does that look like? Power, pouvoir. Let's get another keyword on another oracle deck. You get two. You get generosity and you get enlightenment. So the Forest Temple for enlightenment and the maple syrup for generosity. How beautiful that you're in a position of power. You're an enlightened being, so you are very conscious of probably how you've even acquired your own power. And you're absolutely conscious of the law of retribution, right? Of wanting to put it back out there and share with people. So generosity is showing up for you. It's like gratitude, right? Kind of. But you're obviously striking acts of kindness and generosity, charity. Maybe you're participating, contributing, helping out, giving. Most likely giving without even thinking about it, like without even like second looking or second guessing yourself. Ten of Swords in the reverse. What is this, please? What is this situation? Death in the reverse, something that wouldn't end. So this is a contradiction, right? Because one is about ending, the other one is not. Let's see what this is. Maybe it has to do with how you eventually became enlightened, because it feels like a very pressurized situation, right? Like being caught between something that has ended, just ended, should be ending, and then something that's just never dying, just ongoing and not transforming, not shifting. So it's like saying eternal limbo here. But it's mostly the pressure of that situation. Let's look at what it actually, either what happened or the devil in reverse. It's because you're working at releasing something, someone, maybe even releasing your own power, natural power, which could come across as your power lies when you're being generous, when you share of yourself, when you share of your wealth. That's more than likely. Okay, that's a big pile, but we'll take those. So, Seven of Pentacles in the reverse, the Ace of Cups in the reverse, the Five of Swords, the Five of Cups, the High Priestess in reverse, and the Queen of Pentacles in the reverse. So this is the person maybe you're trying to release. I see a lot of fighting. I see a lot of this like sadness and, you know, the double five right there in the middle of that sequence of cards. It's a change for sure. 55 is like, fives are about change, huge changes actually. It would be a situation in love, right? Something that didn't work out, but mainly a situation in which I guess you felt you wasted your time, or the time that was invested at least didn't yield any return for you. And this is the person per se, someone, I want to say, versed in deep studies, someone caring, someone nurturing, someone that enjoys pragmatism as well, but both characters are in reverse here. This person is extremely sad from all the fighting, right, with you, and mostly the situation where they realize that there needs to be a release on both sides, I think. But it looks like maybe that's why we have conflicting energies here. Maybe one side wants to end it, the other doesn't. That's a possibility. Maybe that's why we have one side has, you know, clarity, enlightened. They have clarity on what it is that, you know, maybe that the relationship is not to be continued, versus generosity. The other person wants to keep giving to this relationship. So we're kind of seeing both sides here, but we're looking at this person as having been very silent in the past, or a woman of few words, maybe a lack of warmth as well in terms of their expression, especially in love, right? There would have been like few expressions of love, or very small ones, or very buried, you know, like very hard to actually, easy to miss, or hard to decipher, really, like a particular love language that you wouldn't be accustomed to, or that you're not used to. Anyway, this is about, so it describes this person, it describes this relationship with you. It speaks of power in general. So it could be that you need to regain your power when it comes to this release. Maybe that's what it'll do in the end. Give you back some of that energy that needs to be retrieved for yourself. But there's going to be a release, definitely, of a relationship, of a situation that is a bit conflictual and kind of disappointing for both parties, really. There might be some exchanges, of course, but I feel they're going to be very few, if any. And I think both parties here are preferring to stay silent. Although the High Priestess is in reverse, I don't sense much communication, really. I sense a lot more of to each their own, until like energetically everything fizzles out. Because I think there's still a possibility for arguments if you actually communicate. Let's look at Gemini. Sorry, Taurus. Let's look at Gemini. Hope you guys are well, Gems. We're going to look at what the solstice means for you now, but in terms of like a quantum leap into December, right? The next solstice, the winter solstice, and see where you'll be in 6 months with the energy of today, right? If that makes any sense. You get construction. There's a house on this card. I don't know if you're actually building a house, but that's pretty cool. You could be moving, but mostly you're building something. It doesn't have to be a house. So let's see what you're working on. Let's get another oracle. You get 2 cards, Jen. You get expansion and freedom. So expansion is this house. You're clearly building an extension of your living quarters, your living space. You feel that it's giving you a lot more freedom because you're opening up your space. Beautiful. Let's look at tarot. Okay, you get the Hierophant with the Page of Swords in the reverse. The Hierophant is all about structures and, you know, being very committed to a task, of course. And the Page of Swords is about, especially in the reverse, it's about, well, I'm not just going to stand there and watch this. I'm actually maybe going to participate. But I do feel there might be participation a little bit like, coming in a little bit like, okay, I'll do it. Because the Page of Swords prefers to stand back and watch. So I'm not too sure if he's keen on getting his hands dirty for the construction. But definitely this move and this expansion is going to create freedom. And freedom from being watched all the time. Maybe you have nosy neighbors, or maybe you have, I don't know, a particular house where you feel, let's say like the windows, you have less intimacy, or the way it's built, something like that. Maybe you prefer to be remote from your neighbors. Whatever the thing is, like there's something about not wanting to be watched and wanting to be more free. Let's get more tarot. Magician in reverse. So construction is not your forte. You're probably not the one banging on that on those nails. I feel that you have to exert a lot of your power. So basically, you're not the one with the hammer, but you're having to pay other people to manipulate the space, right? To do the construction for you. I think it's difficult for you to manage, to be honest. And maybe that's perfect. Maybe that's why you give it away to someone else to manage. Then we have the Two of Cups in the reverse. Okay, well, there's definitely something, a situation here where it feels it has to do with the initial Page of Swords, wanting to move, not to be observed by maybe someone in particular. Could be an old flame. Maybe that's why you're moving initially, so, and maybe that's what you're manifesting, or at least manifesting to move away, right? To not be within this person's vicinity in terms of them having any influence on you, no matter how you perceive that influence to be. Whether it's an energetic influence or like psychological, intellectual, financial, emotional influences, right? Whichever one, whichever combo. Let's get one more card and then we'll close this out. Nine of Swords in the reverse. It's great. You're not stressed out about it. Not so much, right? I think you're handling it better than... or I think it's what actually creates freedom for you. Maybe it was like psychological freedom, not just physical freedom that you were requiring from, you know, building something new, having the project, having to move, if this is a house, of course, going by the imagery, but you get the point. Anyways, Gemini, that's the message for you. Let's do Cancer now. So Cancer, we're looking at the Solar Solstice energy now, and we're looking at what it's going to look like in 6 months, right? In a very quick message, like of a nutshell of a message. Let's get an energy here. Imagination for you. Which is so Cancerian. You guys are so creative. It is number 18, which is the moon's number here on this card. So the other oracle says power with the dragon. It has this ball of light, which almost looks like a palantir, but it could be like, pretend it's like a moon. Let's get some tarot and see what this is really about, because it speaks of the power of your imagination. So what are you creating? What are you working on really? How does it manifest for you, Cancer? As the Queen of Pentacles, of you being extremely crafty. That's so cool. Nice. So you're hands-on, you're doing your chores, but you're making them like, you're turning them into like either fun activities, and you're making them enjoyable. You get strength in the reverse. So you're not holding back, you're really hands-on, you're like... even a little wild here, but I mean, outside of your own box, maybe, of your own the usual parameters within which you create, and whatever that means for you. Hence why it's the power of imagination, because you're able to break out of that particular mold. That would be phenomenal. Imagine what you could create within 6 months' time. These cards want to come out. We have the Page of Swords in the reverse, and we have the Knight of Pentacles. Okay. It's really about, again, you're not wanting to just sit back and watch. You're wanting to like starting to participate. I don't think you know how to really hear. I think you're still gathering information. You're still maybe even shy to show your stuff. You're going at it like one step at a time. I'm not sure why you're progressing slowly. It's almost like a choice, or if not a choice, something imposed. Something doesn't move very fast, but it grows steadily for sure. And it's also almost like you're not showing it really. Maybe that's why the growth is slow, because you're not really publicizing it. You're not very here. The Empress, it is gonna grow. That's amazing. It's extremely creative. It's gonna be really, really beautiful and really like how do you say, substantial. Like it'll have some yeah, some substance. But it's slower maybe than at other times. It's really incredible. I wonder what you're working on. It doesn't say specifically. I mean, it feels like a business project because it's the Queen of Pentacles as you. And so, and we do have the Knight of Pentacles going at it slowly and growing slowly. And the Empress, I mean, that's ultimately Venus, ultimately money as well, but it doesn't have to be. That's pretty amazing, Cancer. Huge expansion, huge growth here. Let's look at Leo now. Leo, we're looking at the solstice energy, and we're looking at what that's going to look like in 6 months' time at the winter solstice, right? So right now we're at the summer solstice. But we want to see like what would be a quantum leap for you. So where are you in 6 months basically? And you're like, the word here is change, changement. Let's get another oracle card. What's this change? You get 2 cards. You get beauty and you get new beginnings. There you go. Well, changes in beauty, that means you're taking care of yourself greatly. So a very good hygiene. Who cares if it makes you become a little high maintenance in the process? Go for it. I think it's good that you really pamper yourself and beautify yourself to the most of your ability and of your wallet, as much as your wallet permits it. And the new beginnings, maybe it's making you feel on top of the world. It's most likely to have this effect, right? To give you the possibility of feeling extra. Let's see what the Tarot says really. What is that new beginning for you, and what's so beautiful about this change? And what is so beautiful about Leo's beauty? Is it Leo? Am I doing Cancer? Leo, I think. Yes, I'm doing you, Leo. My bad. I forgot for a second. You get the Three of Swords with the Five of Wands in the reverse. So you had a heartbreak, and you're coming out of that situation that was difficult, that had you intertwined and most likely reactive. So there's a big change for you on that front. What else for Leo? You get the Seven of Wands, the Eight of Wands, and the Seven of Cups. So Seven of Wands is in reverse. So you're really going for it. You're changing. You're opening up yourself. You're changing. You're going towards many new things here. You're like, I don't know. You're almost traveling like to the speed of light towards a gazillion new interests. Almost like too excited about it, like a little too, like all these new beginnings. It's like you're shooting, look, it's like you being the Seven of Wands. You have 7 wands. You know that you have 7 pursuits or 7 targets, but you're so excited that you end up shooting 8 arrows. That's how excited you are about the new beginnings. That's funny. But it's great because it shows so much enthusiasm, it shows excitement, it shows energy. Let's see what you end up really doing, because I feel that you're throwing all these arrows at the 7, towards 7 different avenues or things or whatever they are, right? New options for you, new, maybe new paths even for yourself, right? Let's see what you choose. Let's see what sticks. Let's see what really engages you. The World in reverse, so traveling for sure. Maybe you don't get to travel the whole world, across the world, around the world, because the card is in reverse. But you are wanting to travel. Initially, that's what you were doing. You basically darted out, or, you know, you were very eager to leave. I think you might slow down and you might revisit 4 things out of 7, because we have the 4 fixed elements here. What am I saying? Why did I say fixed? There's 3 fixed. That's what it is. It's because I don't think you're going to travel as exhaustively as you think. You might have to stay in one place longer. You might have to also explore 4 things before you're really able to choose. So staying longer means you're going to have to spend more time figuring that out, which really is the right one for you. It also comes from unfinished business, like residual energy, right? So you're really analyzing 4 scenarios or 4 situations, or there are 4 things that you're working on or specifically spending time on. That's for sure. But I'm tempted to tell you that it's a little bit, 4 is still being scattered, but it's good that you move from 7 to 4. But we can tell that you're being absolutely exploded in all directions, that you're very, very And you were a little bit before, even when you had this heartbreak and argument, you got a little bit spread thin here, even within that particular conflict. So it feels like you're coming off, of this conflict, right? Like you're coming out of it. You're still somewhat defensive. And yet, it feels like the only reflex you have, or the movement you're wanting to create, is just to open that dam and like let it all out. Because then you go from the 7 to the 8, and we're starting to see here that you're wanting to like break open. But when you do, it's like the flood. Anyways, it'll be great ultimately, but you'll still be busy. Because if you're working on 4 different things, you're pretty good. Okay, let's look at Virgo here now. Virgo, what we're doing is looking at the energy of the summer solstice and see where that puts you in 6 months' time at the winter solstice. What's the energy of that? So I'm going to pick this one card. An awakening, prise de conscience. Let's get another oracle card from a different deck. This one. You get transmutation. Okay, so an awakening, a transmutation. So let's wait for the tarot to tell us in which arena of your life is this taking place. Or is it at all levels? Which is most likely to be, right? Especially for a transmutation, I feel it would be like a complete overall, like death. Page of Pentacles and the Page of Rods in the reverse. So 2 pages and death. It's interesting that you really change irreversibly and in a very flowy manner. I think it's something that you are welcoming. You're really wishing it on yourself, and it's almost, you're doing it gracefully. It's beautiful. Where you're having a little bit of a harder time is talking about it. You're not wanting to discuss the subject. You're only wanting to show the results. So let's get some more tarot. One card. The Wheel of Fortune. Huge change. I mean, this transformation, transmutation, this death is incredible. I mean, we see it. We see the death, so it's transformation, but you're actually transmuting. We see the phoenix rising. You've had an epiphany, an awakening. The wind of, the tides are turning. Let's see where you go from here. Let's see where it puts you in December. That Wheel of Fortune, what happens? What happens then? There. The King of Swords in the reverse. Okay, so know that you have brilliant ideas. You're going to meet someone very, very shrewd. Someone somewhat complicated and yet very simple at the same time. So I know it's totally insane what I just said, but let me explain. You're going to meet someone that asks themselves a lot of questions and that really thinks things through, so much so, right? And yet you're also they are also someone that will be hasty at the same time, or be of someone of fewer words at the same time, especially because the king is in reverse. So it's a little bit of a head game, or if you're not within or privy with, how do you say, privy to what's going on in their headspace, which who really is privy to anybody's headspace, right? We can't really always guess and read people's minds, but it could be you having these thoughts. I'm thinking they're both brilliant ideas, but for some reason you're, again, not making... You're not exposing them for some reason. Why are you not exposing your ideas? Why is the card in reverse? The Queen of Swords. That's a couple. Look at that. Okay, I'm getting a few messages because it's opening up to different people here, but there's a family dynamic. There's literally two parents and two adolescents or two younger kids. I mean, I do feel that, I do sense that. But if it's not just a family dynamic, well, there is a change. Within that family dynamic, there's a change. There's something going on with the father, with the provider of this family. So there's a big change coming. That's one message. The other one was coming back to these brilliant ideas and this awakening. It's like becoming a lot more managerial and a lot more organized. It's like moving from being within too much, being with inside someone's mind, right? Or being in one's head all the time. And yet finally being able to sort it out in a way that you can be in your mind, but in the better way, in the better sense of the way. I can't even say it. It's so difficult to express. It's like saying to you, you're always in your head, you're having a hard time with your ideas, just the way I am now, for instance. It's like you kind of know what you want, you kind of know what you want to say, but you can't articulate it. That's probably exactly what's going on here. And then moving into someone that can actually sort these ideas within one's mind, speak them more articulately, more eloquently, just there's a lot more managing around these ideas and where they can be taken and what to do with them. Whereas prior there was more confusion around that. Anyways, I think I've inadvertently totally enacted the card. It's perfect because it serves the message. It's excellent. Okay, anyways, let's do Libra. Or actually, you know what? I'm going to cut the video here and I'll do the 6 other signs on a different one. Take care.